Matt, it's 51. How are you?
I'm very well. I've got another quote for you.
I'd like you to say it.
I think we're going to the moon because it's in the nature of the human being to face challenges. It's by the nature of his deep inner soul. We're required to do these things just as salmon swim upstream.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franklin.
That's beautiful. Who's that by?
It's none other than Neil Armstrong.
Oh, yes.
I know, how cool is that?
He's ace.
What do you want to start with first? Shall we have a little chat about our Astronaut of the Week?
I would love to start with Astronaut of the Week because
Yeah.
she's just such a cracker, an all-round cracker.
The Interplanetary Podcast.
Putting the
ace back
into
space. So, yes, it's time for Astronaut of the Week.
Let's hit it.
It's time for
Astronaut of the Week. Astronaut of the Week this week, Jamie, as we know, is someone that we met at ESTEC. An amazing person, one of those people that walks into a room and you know that she's the boss.
She totally was the boss in a brilliant way. She was so great.
Yeah, and, looked amazing, just had that aura of someone who's
She owned the room.
owned it. France's first woman in space, Claudie Haigneré. We luckily get her to pronounce her own name because we're
That's
pretty,
true, actually.
Well, I know I'm pretty dreadful.
She'll correct us both.
Well, we could quickly just have a quick recap before we play our interview with her. So
Absolutely.
She's the first French woman in space, pretty much to the day on October the 21st, 2001. She flew up on Soyuz TM-33
Oh, yeah.
to the International Space Station. How cool is that?
So cool.
So, and I think at that point she became the first European woman to visit the International Space Station.
I'd like to give you a quote from her, Matt.
Go on then.
I watched the Earth turn while I listened to Callas singing Norma in the silence of the night while my colleagues slept.
Yeah, so there's a little indication she likes a bit of pretty cool opera.
That's pretty cool.
If you were going to guess what kind of music she listened to, I think I probably would have gone with that.
Yeah, it's not a bad guess.
So she's mainly a doctor, I think. So she's got she's got certificates in biology and sports medicine, aviation and space medicine, and rheumatology,
And a PhD in neuroscience.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put that on top.
Yeah. and I think her diploma, as they call it in France, it was in biomechanics and physiology of movement.
Wow. So she's a clever cookie.
Yeah, she's married to Jean-Pierre Haigneré, who's also an astronaut. In fact, she was the backup crew for the Mir Altair mission, which her husband actually flew on.
Okay.
And they've also actually got an asteroid named after them.
Nice.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
But she did actually go up to the Mir space station for 16 days back in 1996 as part of the Russian-French Cassiopeia mission. Then later, when she went up to the International Space Station on the Andromeda mission, Andromède.
That's it.
I think that's what
Nice.
I don't know how the French say it. Crew prime objective was to deliver the space station's new lifeboat. So they went up and exchanged the Soyuz. And it's at that point she actually, I think, became the first woman to qualify as a Soyuz return commander.
Oh, that's not
so
bad
she
for the CV, is it?
Yeah, so she could command a 3-person Soyuz capsule during an emergency return from space.
Well, it's me and her then. We can both do that.
But you weren't the first man.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So that's why we don't really mention it.
I don't like to talk about it.
So she retired from ESA on the 18th of June 2002 after completing her Andromède mission. Then she entered French politics under Jean-Pierre Raffarin's government. So she was Minister Delegate for Research and New Technologies from 2002 to 2004 and succeeded Noël Lenoir as Minister Delegate for European Affairs in 2004 to 2005.
Blimey.
She was an advisor to the director of ESA, and she's has positions on the boards of L'Oréal, Foundation de France, Airbus, Lacoste, and she enjoys contemporary art, painting and sculpture, and gymnastics and golf.
Okay.
And she has an 18-year-old daughter. Just as a weird thing, while I was doing a bit of research, I did find that she was caught up in a bit of a controversy.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like a classic example about when conspiracy theorists can be actually dreadfully insensitive,
right?
As in just horrible people. So when she was working at the biology lab at the Pasteur Institute back in December 2008, she actually got what she would call burnout syndrome. So she became pretty ill and had to leave her job for a while. And of course, the conspiracy theorists linked this with the fact that she knew about aliens.
Of course they did.
That, during her illness, she used to shout out, "The Earth must be warned." But I don't think we're going to dwell on that much.
No,
because
I
that's
don't
just
think so.
Stupid conspiracy nonsense that has absolutely no basis in fact whatsoever. So I imagine that this would really annoy Claudie. Indeed. So shall we just listen to that interview, Jamie?
Yeah, let's roll it.
Okay, here we go. Roll the tape. Écoutez.
So I'm Claudie Haigneré, working in ESA headquarters in Paris as an advisor to the Director General of ESA.
Claudie, thank you very much for speaking to us today. The first question is quite a hard one, but I'd like to know what your career highlight is. If you could have one day that you could relive again, which was your favourite?
The favourite? There is a lot really of interesting moment. I think maybe the experience of the first flight, for sure. I've been selected in 85 and my first flight was in 96. That's been 11 years waiting for, training for, learning for. So this very day of 96 with the launch was really something so exciting to discover. I was touching the reality of my dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that must have been an absolutely amazing moment. Your involvement with ESA, can you tell us a bit more about ESA and why it's an important organisation?
So ESA is this intergovernmental, as you know, with 22 member states, united in order to do what individually they cannot do together. That means it's completely obvious for space science, this big mission, huge mission, Rosetta, Huygens, or LISA Pathfinder that we are preparing now, or ExoMars to discover some life system on this planet. And not only on the scientific point of view, that's also the possibility to have, for example, the launchers or grid constellation of satellites. And it's a good representation of what we can do when we are united with a constructive vision for the future. And I do like space and Europe. And as I said often, I had the chance to be born in 57. 57 for me, that's the Rome Treaty, and that's the Sputnik launch. So tell me I have two stars, space and Europe. And for me, being part of the European Space Agency, it's completely it's my life, and I think it's a successful path for the future. And I hope it still will be very attractive for the young students, engineers, scientists, to be in that dimension.
Absolutely. You touched on Mars just a minute ago. Now, there's talk, obviously, with Elon Musk, Moon or Mars. If you had to go to either, which one would you go to?
I am currently an advisor to the Director General of ESA, working on the project of the Moon Village. So that means my destination is the moon, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to stay loyal.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
So Moon Village is next, as in, you think
it's... Moon Village is part of the concept of the vision of the roadmap for exploration beyond low Earth orbit to Mars, and in between a cislunar adventure with a deep space gateway, and possibly this possibility to land on the moon surface, to develop a permanent infrastructure. That means not only to visit, as has been the case before, but also to inhabit, to work, to live with different communities, different partners, and it's really an exciting project to think about. And we have to think out of the box if we want to think in terms of living on the surface of the planet.
Absolutely. Now, Matt's much cleverer than me, which is why he keeps ringing me to tell me space facts. And they blow my mind. So I'd like to know maybe which is your favourite fact about space.
July 1969, the first landing on the moon.
No, it's not a bad one. In fact, that's the same as Jean-Jacques said. So we're seeing a trend.
But we are this generation, and
Yeah.
that's clear that for us. So I was 12 years old at the time, and when you have that in the mind of a kid, with
Anything can
excitement, so everything can happen. It opens the door of a dream and to become a
That
reality.
actually leads on
And
to my next question. Which astronaut or which space hero was your real influence growing up? Did you have someone that you looked up to as a role model?
No, not really a role model, neither in science or in space field, but we have this chance also, working in this field of human spaceflight, to live some great period of our life with our heroes. For example, when I was in Star City, 10 years I've been in Star City training for my mission. My neighbor was Alexei Leonov, the other one was Valentina Tereshkova. So that means that I was with my heroes, and that means it's something that gives you the exigence for excellence in what you have to do. And that's something interesting. And I think also being a role model is something. If the role model can make you better up, that you are. And what I try to do with the young boys and girls in that field, inspiring, motivating,
Absolutely.
with the fascination and curiosity.
Yeah. And of that generation who want to come up and be astronauts, is there any advice that you were given in the past that maybe has stuck with you that you can share with us?
It's not to say to them you will become an astronaut, because there is no
Guarantee.
real path to go. You have to dare. That you can be the next one. It's what I did. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. But for me, this landscape of science and technology is so powerful and interesting tools to be actors of the future. And then you will meet someone or someone, you can change the path. I think in the 20th century, you had a background and you had a career. And now it's not at all the point. You have an initial background, and you have to dare and to take the opportunity that will come from meetings, from other events. Well, for me, it was this opportunity in the hospital. I'm a medical doctor and discovered this call for candidacy in the hospital. And that means the light of the July 1969 with the moon and the paper on the wall. And I asked for it, and it worked.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, and have a great rest of the day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The fabulous Claudie.
She's just great. She's just great.
I really enjoyed our time with her because she just came across as being, just super authoritative, lovely, patient kind of person.
Absolutely.
If you wanted someone on your team to do anything, you'd choose her pretty rapidly, wouldn't you?
She was
Amazing.
just all round beautiful. Yeah.
Everything a space person should be.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So, I'll tell you what, Jamie, it's been actually pretty big week in news, and I think the biggest news this week...
What's been going on?
The biggest news, and I think Eric Berger managed to capture this the most succinctly, is the Blue Origin's testing of their enormous BE-4 engine. This really shouldn't be underestimated how massively important it is, because it's only a short while ago that people were saying, this is just a commercial company. They don't have a chance of developing something so complicated and so hard to do. And they've gone and proved their doubters wrong. And it really is a big shift in the space industry, because now it's sort of saying, well, no, commercial companies can actually deliver projects that normally took millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. And now Blue Origin have gone and just done it on their own using, just selling off shares from Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's
incredible.
pretty phenomenal. Yeah. And by the way, the BE-4 is quite a lot more powerful than, say, SpaceX's new Raptor engine.
Oh.
So the Raptor's only got 380,000 pounds of thrust. This thing's got a whopping 550,000 pounds of thrust.
That is a lot of thrust.
So really, this is meant to replace engines like the RS-68, which powers the Delta IV line of rockets, but they're massively expensive, or the RD-180s that are in the Atlas V rockets, but they're Russian-made. So the American military have been looking for a solution to this, because obviously the RS-68 is too expensive and you can't reuse it. It's just a total waste of money. And the RD-180 is made by the Russians, so the American military are none too pleased to flying on Atlas Vs. So this is a really, really, an amazing point where Blue Origin might be able to supply United Launch Alliance with these BE-4 engines for their next... for ULA's Vulcan rocket, which is the
pretty
one that they're
groundbreaking.
developing.
Matt, I've got a question for you. Why doesn't
Yeah.
Jeff and Elon just get together and just work together?
I think that there's something to be said for healthy competition. I hate it when there's only one company doing something. It's a bit like, I always think of it like the Beatles. If there was only Paul McCartney in the band, he wouldn't have pushed himself. But because he's got John Lennon, it's like John Lennon writes something like Strawberry Fields, and then Paul McCartney goes away and goes, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so he goes away and writes Penny Lane.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's let's think of Musk and Bezos as the Lennon and McCartney of commercial spaceflight.
I reckon that Elon is Paul.
Yeah, I think you're actually right.
Yeah.
Which one's which?
Yeah.
But Bezos doesn't really remind me of Lennon, or does he?
Guys, you have to write in and tell us who you think is which Beatle.
And who's George Harrison? Is that Bob Richards?
It could be Bob.
Yeah. Or is it Richard Branson?
No, it's not. Definitely
Richard
not Branno.
Branson's more Paul McCartney.
Definitely not
He's got
Branno.
that kind of slightly.
No, because George Harrison was the
lovable,
most
not
lovable
lovable.
Beatle, definitely. And,
Bob Richards is definitely one of the
and
most
it wouldn't
lovable
be Branno.
space guys.
Branno upsets too many people.
Yeah, he's a bit more of a Paul McCartney, isn't he, old Branno?
Yeah, that's true.
So basically, the only alternative was Aerojet Rocketdyne building the AR-1 engine, and Blue Origin have just basically taken a massive leap ahead of them in developing this huge engine. And I think Aerojet Rocketdyne were pretty rude about Blue Origin, have used their used their lobbying power to kind of push them out, but it hasn't worked. So there's a great quote from Eric Berger's piece in Ars Technica, and it goes like this. It's from Phil Larson, and he says, "As Joe Biden would say, this is a BFD for the space industry." So that's a reference to Joe Biden saying it, using the swear word. I think it was for a medical health bill thing,
In
but it's
between
also a
big
reference
and
to,
day, I assume.
Yeah, and it's also a reference to, of course, BFR. So it's quite clever, isn't it, that? Yeah.
Good.
It's a big FD for the space industry. It goes to show we're accelerating into the moment where commercial space is driving our national space infrastructure.
That's pretty good.
How cool is that?
Pretty cool.
So that's massive in the news, I think. I think that's a bit of a game changer.
And you should go onto our blog and check out the photo of the engine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
because it's
pretty
shiny and nice.
It's shiny and nice and absolutely massive.
Yeah,
and looks pretty complicated as well.
That's true.
Another massive, huge one, which was absolutely awesome as well, was the detection of gravitational waves and visually seeing this thing in light at the same time.
Whoa.
And this is just an enormous moment in space science, I think. And so, it was the merger of two super dense stellar corpses known as neutron stars.
Yeah.
and they've whizzed around and smashed into one another. And it was NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope that first picked it up. This massive high pulse of energy from the explosion. So, like basically a supernova event. Although I think this one's called a kilonova because it's just so ridiculously bright.
Kilonova. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. But then NASA's Swift telescope, Hubble, Chandra, of course, Spitzer, all then went and saw it as well. And then loads of ground-based telescopes. But the really exciting one was that within hours, LIGO and Virgo had also managed to capture the gravitational waves from this event.
Whoa.
And that is like mega important. And as Richard O'Shaughnessy said, it initiates the field of multi-messenger astrophysics, and he's one of the scientists at LIGO.
Matt, if I die, could you scatter my ashes inside a kilonova, please?
In some ways, Jamie, 90% of you is made up from the material created in these kilonovas and supernovas. How cool is that?
I'd like you to change my nickname. To kilonova, please. Yeah, thank you. Or just KN. It's fine.
Yeah.
People will know.
O kilonova.
People will know.
O apostrophe kilonova. Like a sort of son of kilonova.
So, Matt, what else has been happening?
There's also been all the missing matter in the universe has just been found.
Oh, yes, finally. Where's it been?
This is baryonic matter, so your normal matter. So this has got nothing to do, don't confuse this story with dark matter or dark energy, which of course is an embarrassingly 86% of the universe that we still don't know what the heck it is. So we're talking about baryonic matter, stuff made from your normal regular protons and neutrons, etc. Just your normal matter. Now, using the equations of the Big Bang, and there's always been quite a lot of missing matter, like 40% or something stupid, of just not regular matter. We just can't see where the heck it is. Now, scientists have often thought, well, it's probably lurking in intergalactic space. So I think I've got this right, is that the way that they've found this matter is to kind of get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different images of galaxies separated, to like pairs of galaxies, and stack them on top of each other. And this is exactly what I do in astrophotography, where you stack lots and lots of pictures of the same thing on top. Yeah. And eventually you can sort of squeeze out the detail that's there because you're getting rid of the noise, and only the only real true addition is the information that's real in there. And they've been able to kind of show that in the filaments that join up the galaxies in intergalactic space is this missing matter. And they thought it was going to be there, but it's two separate teams of scientists have managed to kind of show it for the first time. So that's a relief for scientists. It doesn't show any kind of new science, which in some ways is a little bit disappointing, but you do occasionally have to be right about stuff. So, yes, they have been. So there's a bit of a nice breakthrough, that.
That is insaniac. Hey, Matt, I'll tell you what else is insaniac. I want to give you a space fact. Just tell me whenever you're ready. I've got one for you.
You've got a space fact. Go.
This is big. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you could look out from the inside of a black hole, you would be able to see the entire universe in one small patch of sky, including the back of your own head. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is absolutely... But how would you get into the black hole in the first place? That's what I want to know.
Well, there's no buts here, Matt. You just got to accept it.
Yeah, okay.
Just got to accept it.
I do like the fact that you could see the back of your own head.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It
might be one of those things, when you're sort of where something really, like when you're sitting on a train.
Yeah.
And then you think the train's moving, but it's the train next to you that's moving. And when you realise that, it kind of makes you feel a bit sick.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And also, even though it would be blowing my mind, do you think that I would still be human in terms of do you think I'd still look at the back of my head and go, oh, I'm going really thin. My hair's really thin. And then you'd be next to me going, but Jamie, look at the majesty of it.
And I think the other thing about this is that the universe, the whole timeline of the universe would happen very, very quickly in front of your eyes. So you'd pretty much see all the events happening very, very rapidly. So that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That is just nuts.
But I also think it'd be really blue. There's something in my mind that reminds me of this story about that it would be everything would be really, really blue. And forgetting the fact, obviously, that you would have been killed by gamma radiation, etc.
Yeah, forget all that.
Forget all that. Jamie, I thought I'd just bring up one last thing.
Go on then.
The mission, which I'm going to call the mission of the week.
Okay.
And it was only because we saw this thing when we were at ESTEC. So there's a thing called the ARD, the Atmospheric Re-entry Demonstrator.
Whoa.
And we saw what looks like a kind of Apollo capsule in essence.
We did.
And it's kind of upside down in the ESTEC Erasmus room. And that flew also on the 21st of October 1998. 19 years ago.
Whoa.
Yesterday. So, yeah. And it cost 43 million euros. Or this is something I'd never heard of. The ECU, the European Currency Unit. I'd completely forgotten about it.
Oh, yeah.
So 43 million European currency units. It's like we're in the future or something.
It really is.
So this thing flew up on Ariane 5, and its kind of record is the fact it's the first kind of complete European mission. This ability to get a capsule up into space and bring it back down again had only ever really been previously attempted and mastered by America and Russia. So this was Europe doing a complete spaceflight cycle for the first time, from launch to landing, with its own expertise. So that was pretty cool. And the dimensions and masses were sort of chosen for this capsule based on Ariane 5's performance. So it was supposed to fly on the second Ariane 5,
right.
But as you know, the first Ariane 5 blew up. So loads of the sort of equipment that had been put in the ARD had to be changed because it was based on some of the stuff that had gone wrong in Ariane 5 itself.
Wow.
So it went up on the third Ariane 5, I think. So it was a little bit delayed, so they had to kind of mothball this thing for a bit. So Europe managed to do. So when was this? 1998. So it managed to join USA and Russia in 1998 with this full cycle, which is pretty exciting stuff. And I took some pictures, which I have put on our Instagram and blog.
We will definitely put them up.
And the picture I got a really good picture of the heat shield itself, which was made from alastria seal, which contains randomly orientated silica fibres impregnated with phenolic resin.
I'm going to get a suit made out of that.
Well, it might be a bit stiff. It will ablate when you go through heat, and that will protect you.
I'll see if they can make it a bit more malleable.
Why are there no videos of this thing?
Why?
If it goes up and it broke up in the atmosphere, there'd be a risk of it sort of all the pieces coming down and melting.
Oh.
And so there'd be molten bits of metal flying down into the sea. So it meant that there had to be a kind of an exclusion zone where the ship, the rescue vehicles, ships and stuff had to be. So they didn't film this thing. So there's no footage of the ARD coming back and splashing down.
Oh, gutted.
Please go on to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a nice review and subscribe, etc. And we really, really, really love letters and emails and tweets and everything else that come in. We love it. We love all forms of interaction. So please keep that coming in. I've had some great letters this week, but we'll read them out next week because Jamie is in Holland again, or the Netherlands, we should say. We keep saying Holland, but we really shouldn't say.
I know. I've got to check out of my hotel, but this is the life of a traveller.
Life of the traveller.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Matt.
So thanks very much for joining us again this week, listeners.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon.
Bye. Bye-bye.